If you're just joining us from around the world, it's still Enterprise Friday here on Enterprise Television. Now, the main conversation. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has upheld the lower court's decision that nullified the 800 billion naira River State's 2024 budget passed by a faction of the House of Assembly loyal to Governor Siminalayi Fubara.
Very true. And the budget passed in December of 2023 by just 4 lawmakers violated quorum requirements. The court affirmed that the legitimate legislative authority lies with the faction led by Speaker Martin Amaewhule-led, which had previously validated the budget.
Governor Fubara's appeal against the earlier ruling was dismissed as meritless, with the court ruling that the governor lost his right to appeal after withdrawing his filings from the Federal High Court.
The court also condemned Fubara for redeploying the clerk and deputy clerk after the demolition of parts of the legislative complex, labeling this action as a violation of the separation of powers.
And the court ordered the governor to resubmit the budget to the full House led by Amaewhule and directed the Inspector General of Police to provide security for the assembly.
Additionally, Fubara was fined 500,000 naira for damages, and his legal tactics were criticized as inconsistent and legally flawed.
Okay, to do justice to this topic and to dissect, looking at it legally and socially, we have in the House Barrister Evans Ufeli. Good morning, Barrister Evans Ufeli.
Good morning to you.
Thank you for joining us. And
morning.
we have a public affairs commentator, Cyril Abako. Good morning, Cyril.
Thank you.
Good morning. Okay, looking at the topic on ground this morning, we're going to look at it from different angles, but let us start with the legal implications. And I'm starting with you, Barrister Evans Ufeli. How does the Court of Appeal's ruling on the quorum requirements impact the future legislative processes in Nigeria, particularly in states with similar political fragmentation?
Well, before we go into the quorum requirement and irregularity, there's something we need to point out. You see that Fubara have consistently been deceived, even by the Wike'S arrangement, even the president's intervention. It's the president's intervention that caused this, because when the president intervened, the president asked, it was almost like Fubara was ordered, go and withdraw your case in court, go and withdraw the budget, go and do this, go and do that. Now, the Attorney General was not tactful, didn't give a good advice. Fubara the next day went to court and withdrew his case. Now, having withdrawn your defense, because it was actually the other side that went to court, Fubara was the defendant. So we filed his defense as to the fact that the quorum requirement was valid, given the defection, and given that they are set out to be declared vacant. So what happened, he withdrew his defense. The Amaewhule faction did not withdraw their case against the president's instruction. They continued with their case. Okay? Now, the Federal High Court, now came up with that judgment that there was no quorum, that couldn't have been valid. You understand? And because all the assertion and claims and prayers of the Amaewhule's faction, there's no defense to it, because the defense have been withdrawn. Now, Fubara now appealed to the Court of Appeal. Just yesterday, the Court of Appeal now said that you cannot even appeal against a case that you have withdrawn your defense. You see how this is going? And now order him to go back and present that budget to the Amaewhule's faction. What does that tell you? By implication, it means that Fubara should become answerable to lawmakers who defected. And you know, they have been looking for that opportunity since to impeach him. So now that he's been asked to go back, what is he going to do? He is going to the Court of Appeal. So he's going to the Supreme Court. Now, can you go to the Supreme Court with a case that you have withdrawn your defense at the court of first instance? Those are the questions. So the president deceived Fubara, and that thing they call settlement. You know, we said it then that this thing they call settlement is not. You should watch it. Why didn't the president reprimand the Amaewhule faction for not withdrawing theirs? Why is he mute? If truly his intervention is for the purposes of justice and fair play, they disobeyed him, he didn't say anything. So that's why I said this man called Fubara, as much as I like to talk about him in the light of the fact that he is always being victimized, he is never tactful. This is his first outing in real politics, and that is why he keeps making mistakes upon mistakes. Why should you have a settlement where you are the only one being called to go and rewrite all wrongs or presume or assume wrongs? The other side, it's not even in fact, they even told him to go and pay them salary for that December, and he paid them salary for Christmas for vilifying you as a governor and for doing all that. Instead of you to rely on the fact that the Constitution says their seat should be declared vacant and stay there. Don't withdraw any case from anywhere. That's what they ought to have done. The president have no rights under the law to tell a governor what to do in his state.
Now, you should know better. Legal jurisprudence is more about looking for lacuna wherever it is you might find it. Are you sure there's no gap there that Fubara might be looking at, and his legal team might be looking at, they might use to counter?
Yeah, well, there's always a provision of law that will redeem your case. Okay. Well, it depends on how deep you search for it. And it depends on how versatile your law team, your legal team and all that is. You understand? Fubara, on the basis of that agreement that all of them signed, can make a case for the implementation of that agreement against the other people. But that would be to go and that you can't be doing that at appeal, because it will now mean you are bringing extra judicial materials into an appeal. You know, in appeal, you don't file fresh materials and you don't raise fresh issues.
Okay.
Yes, you don't. You have to stick to the issues contended on the first court of first instance. You cannot be contending the issue of quorum and the validity of same at the court of first instance and then get to the Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court, to introduce an agreement signed by parties and asking the court at the top to implement same.
Well, if the knowledge is true, then why would they want to go to the Supreme Court if the understanding is that you can do...
No, possibly going to the Supreme Court might be possibly to, to open any vista that's available to them for argument. Okay, to possibly say that the Court of Appeal erred in law to have ruled against similar in the face of, you understand? They could argue anything they want to argue, but the truth is that you as a governor, if you were Fubara, will you face Amaewhule's fashion to present budget?
No.
They will use that day to impeach you.
Okay, let me go to Cyril Abako now. Cyril, if the ruling is upheld and Fubara must resubmit the budget to a legislature that is not aligned with him, how might this affect the state's ability to function effectively in 2024?
I always talk about two sides to me. There's a political side of me that should not even find expression at all, because I have a very strong moral side that drums it. But nothing should make Fubara represent any budget to anybody. Why? What is the sanctity of a system that will tell the police not to protect people during an election? That same system is telling me to represent a budget to people that willingly vacated a seat. We said it on this program that those 4 or 5 lawmakers that are left, in my opinion, form more than quorum. In the place, they are saying that the land or the town belongs to those who remain. So if everybody has died and only 2 persons remain, those 2 people are the owners of the land.
But we're speaking about constitution here. Do you think
It's
it
fine.
works? 4%.
Yeah. If we're talking politics,
Yes.
I told you, this is any another than violence. It's already clear. You can see it. So those 30 those 21 are going to sit on there, that they are now the lawmakers of the state. And from Fubara saved this job by people, somebody, some sympathizers going to bomb that assembly. We're heading back to that same place. You tell me what else you're going to do. Are you aware that I was talking about the vist of argument? In Supreme Court, you don't stand to say, my lord, my case, my lord, your case. That's not the Supreme Court. Am I wrong? In the Supreme Court, it is right or case, send it to that, send it in.
Yes.
In churches, there's no put someone in the door. Let's not say, my lord or protection. They don't do that Supreme Court.
And it cannot be appealed.
It can't be appealed. There's no prefect to appeal it to. So it looks like this is a fait accompli. I agree with him again that this whole scenario, we find ourselves in a place where the governor's lack of political exposure has brought him to. You see, the ideal thing to do is this. I'm not a lawyer myself, but like I told you, your political side, because when you've read history and seen things, if you've understood how somebody said that the one of Wike'S very close allies dropped the name of the person that was his Wike'S political mentor. We've watched documentaries on how those people ran their countries, and we say politics is layer, step upon step, layer upon layer. If you miss any layer, any step, it could look at now, they're about to scrap EFC.
You pay dearly.
You could pay even after a century. Look at what's happened. If somebody just brought up, but is it true or false? They've gone to say that the president, that the EFC, that the thing didn't follow the right procedure. The courts are not sentimental.
Yes, so.
The courts are, it's like principles. If you sow, even if you pray against sleeping, you will reap, because it's a principle of life.
It's a principle.
You cannot put your key in the engine and pray and say, as I'm telling it may not come on, it will come on. So these are basic principles of life. You have sown the wind, you reap the wild wind. If the Supreme Court now says that Governor Fubara should indeed go and represent. Now, the other part of the matter is that there's a flurry of cases, right? There are several disputes. There is even the substantive case of, are those guys supposed to be lawmakers still
In the first
or
place.
not? Is even there. So I don't know where that one is. But the governor said the other day on TV that he had knelt down to beg his political benefactor several times.
Yeah, because that's actually what I wanted to ask you. When we talk about leadership, we look at it like it's robotic, it's mechanical in nature. We're talking about humans here with human feelings. We need to apply human angle to all of this. Governor Fubara said he has knelt down. He has done everything possible to ensure that peace reigns in the land. Now, as part of that, I guess that was the reason he withdrew the case against the lawmakers. So how
Prematurely.
Yes, exactly. So how would you feed this? Yes, exactly. How do you feed this to the discourse? Yeah.
You are the lawyer, yeah. I don't know if it works, but see, look, and this is what Rivers people are known for. A great deal of native intelligence. The simple thing to do is, didn't he grow up in his village? He was the chief accountant of the local government area. This move to do this is that agreement, if it was going to be binding on both parties, it means that there must be some items that we must jointly implement. So instead of me going to court to take my defense out, let's harmonize our processes. No, but
That is even unwitty, because it's a case where you are the defendant.
It's the plaintiff that withdraw the case.
It's the plaintiff that took the matter to court. If the plaintiff withdraw the matter,
if the court finally dies, right?
The defense is withdrawn.
It's withdrawn.
Okay.
But this man, I used to say, if I had the opportunity to work or call him directly, I would have given him very good. I say it here all the time. This man have started this thing again. Oh. You see, even this APP something that starts, you see how it will backfire again on him. Don't do things like, why should you hurriedly? That's just, it doesn't have an attorney general. Why would you go and be a defendant? It's not the one who have the power on the case. It's the claimant. If the claimant withdraws, everything stands withdrawn. Why should you go and withdraw this as a defendant?
But
For perjury.
No, but let's not forget here. Intuitively, because Fubara has always had his way at the end of the day. Every bottleneck that's been set for him, he finds a way of skipping them over and over. So don't you think that would equally work in this case?
Well, it could, but I'm telling you that all those times he finds his way is just coincidence. It's not thoughtful. Now, there's a case pending in court now where the issue of the this would to vacate their seats, the 27 lawmakers to vacate their seats. They went to court to store INEC for conducting the election. Now that restraining order had long expired. His legal team ought to bring an action to vacate it. Okay? Vacate it, then go back to the constitution and activate, make the court in that order to make an order compelling, you understand, the INEC use expertise. You understand? Let them make that order. By the time you put them on notice, the INEC will be ready to conduct that election. I know that there is a room with violence and all, but that is the time that the state will need to empty the security apparatus of this country to Rivers State. But you don't have a president, because Rivers State's an opposition. You don't have a president that is strong-willed on the rule of law. What you have is a backdoor president. And a backdoor president will not want to look at the intrinsic provision of law to insist that INEC act accordingly. You understand? If it were a state that they had and they had lost, they would deploy everything. Look at what they did in Edo. We had how many governors? 8 of them, right?
Yeah.
In that election. But here, so let Fubara go back to the drawing board. Let his legal team do the needful. That case now is the only window they have. Let the law take its course. Because not enough to say, go back and go and present. As you say, because the court, the Rivers State legal team, that is Fubara, they said it yesterday that the court was silent on the issue of the seat of the lawmakers. But if you are making an order that Fubara should go and present that to the Amaewhule faction, what you are saying by implication is that their seats still subsist. Is that not it?
Very true. Yes. So let's, yes.
Let me just, I didn't want to speak to impugn any party to this matter. But the governor, I think, but 1 year and almost 6 months is enough for him to understand how Nigeria works. They say that by the fruits you shall know them. So even if he has known, he is not quite bearing the fruits that should show that he has understood what is going on. The sort of representation you even pick matters. In what I mean? There's a reason some people will say that on some cases they want so and so names. I don't want to go into what I'm saying. They require so and so people to represent them. It may not necessarily be because of anything, but it matters. Imagine myself and Barrister failing in court. The judge will look at, and I was called to bar on the last day of last month, and he has been at it for years and years on end. Our approach to the case may not be the same. In fact, the judge may look at me and say, you're okay. He will differ to him. It is normal. There's a reason when you wear what they call silk and the non-silk. In fact, in the investiture, when they are appointing you to be an SCM, it is written that you will enjoy deference in all courts across Nigeria. Am I saying the truth, sir? It is written in the investiture that you will enjoy deference. Not to the extent of maybe terminating justice per se, but when you appear in court,
terms of hierarchy of court cases, if your case is number 30, they'll bring you to 1.
Yes.
So the governor needs to know that some certain things like this could matter. And I don't. So he needs to be circumspect. He needs to know. The Bible say that if you don't know book, you need to know who know way. Because in the Yoruba language, Iwe book. Say if you don't know Iwe, you need to know somebody, or you need to know your way. So it is a matter of Iwe and way. The governor needs to know. If he does not know Iwe enough, he needs to know his way.
Okay. Thank you, Siri. Okay, Barrister Evans, let's look at the judicial integrity and political pressure here now, because that's what is playing out. And given the high profile of this case, how can courts avoid political pressure, if it's possible, especially in Nigeria, and in this case, looking at the person that is involved, when ruling on such politically charged issue? And are there safeguards in place to protect judicial independence?
No, I don't think in this case that there's any judicial pressure. Because the matter was on merit. Yes, the pronouncement is on merit of law. You don't withdraw a matter and appeal it. See, in UNC Food versus Markford, Lord Denning said that if a matter is void, in law is a nullity. As you cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. It's a strong principle of law. The law does not look to settlement. Whether you are a Fubara, they have been fighting you since last year till now. The court does not care. What the court cares is what is before me as a judge.
Yes.
What is before me as a judge is that your defense have been withdrawn at the court of first instance. Then I'm seeing you appealing on the strength of that same case you have withdrawn. You cannot withdraw a case and appeal it at the same time. That's putting something on nothing. So, but the layman will see that as judicial pressure. Or maybe Wike went to meet to say, it's not that. It's not every time. In cases where we look at it as lawyers and we see that something is wrong, we know and we say it. But where the law is clear on the issue, you understand? These people did not withdraw their case deliberately. They continued with it. And now this is where we are on that case. So, at the end of the day, there is a need to determine first whether the Amaewhule-led fashion is properly and legally constituted.
Beautiful.
Or whether they are still lawmakers before we can even determine whether the quorum was valid or not for the passage of the budget. Because as it stands now, from the standpoint of the Court of Appeal, it means that all Fubara have been spending in Rivers State, all the funds are illegal. Yes, that's what it means, because there's no appropriation from what we have from the Court of Appeal. You understand? So until maybe a higher court make a contrary pronouncement,
The governor of Fubara,
or the courts that is to determine their legality or otherwise in terms of their seats, let them make a pronouncement to that effect.
So at this point now, Cyril, can we say that his legal team are knowledgeable enough and they're giving him the right advice?
I'm sorry, Joma. The politician in me, this is not legal issue as far as I see it. It's not legal. You see, the point, the question we have to ask is Fubara ready? He's already on the pitch. He's kitted. He has made captain of the team. And the game, unfortunately, has started. You cannot now stand aside. He has to, but is he fit enough? Is he ready to play? If Fubara understands what he's
Getting it.
the place that the country woke up in, he should go learn the language and say good morning at least first. He needs to do that then. So he is there. Let him do what.
You see, but let's.
Is he aware where he is? That's my. Is he aware where he is?
Not aware.
Is he aware where he is? This is not a legal issue. It is not a legal issue in any. It is not. There's nothing legal about it. He should learn. This thing happened in Ekiti. We saw it similar to in Ondo. We've seen it happen in Abia. We've seen it happen in even Edo. What is he doing?
See, when we keep saying this is not a legal issue, it seems like we support, the shenanigan happening politically in Nigeria. But of course, let's take it back to where we're coming from. It's still a legal issue. It's in the court of law. I so much believe, though I need to be educated on the malleability of the law in this particular case. Interlocutory injunctions are there, all right, and they serve a particular important symbol in all of this case. So don't you think that's why I asked about lacuna? So don't you think interlocutory injunctions that must have been served before now could serve as a remedy in all of this that we think that has gotten Fubara in the net that he might not come up from?
Okay, should I now?
Yes, please do.
This is what I know. Nigeria, but there's no interlocutory injunction as far as I know. What they normally do is this: they will secure that injunction pending the hearing of the substantive suit. But here, the substantive suit is already well underway. What they've done is that they've secured a self-execution. Is that not the normal thing? Pending determination of the appeal. That's where we are.
Where the interlocutory lies is on the case of their seats, whether they are kilometers or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, we have, because that case is also on appeal, because not the same case. Okay, this one we are discussing now has to do with quorum, which is a separate case. The one that they filed for their seat to be vacated and all that was stalled by interlocutory injunction. Now, that interlocutory injunction by now should have expired.
Really?
Yeah, because not perpetual injunction they got against INEC. Because INEC has a constitutional responsibility by law. So you cannot have a perpetual injunction to restrain them from carrying out their lawful exercise. So it's interlocutory by a motion ex parte. Now, that particular injunction need to be vacated. Because even when an injunction has expired by a fruition of time, it does not automatically activate the law until a motion is brought to vacate it, and such motion is granted. And other orders can be made on that same motion to then compel INEC to act. Because as far as these people, there's no court in the land that have make a pronouncement on the issue of their defection and the vitality of their seats. As long as no court has made pronouncement on that, Fubara will keep having problem.
Are they
and it's becoming at the risk of not sounding unprofessional, Fubara should also check his law team whether they have not been infiltrated by Wike. It's important. He needs to, because what is playing out, the way his outings in court, and the one that shocked me is, who is that person other than the Attorney General that advised him to go and withdraw a defense when a substantive suit subsists? Who does that's dancing naked on the market square? You took all your arsenals away, took all your spears, arrow, and boats, kept them, brought all your soldiers, and asked them to advance for war. You finish all of them,
even if done in the name of peace.
Yes, in the name of peace is the sentiment.
You see, that's why that
is why I don't reckon with people who are gentle. I don't reckon with that. The reason I don't reckon with them, I've seen too much in life, and I don't believe, you can criticize me if you like, I don't believe I should be gentle. Because this world is a war. If you go gently, people will come and create problem for you. If you are harsh and what, they will create problem for you. So which other way you will find problem? In this world, you will have many tribulations. So if even the heavenly writs have made a pronouncement that we're going to have too many tribulations, on what basis is the justification that I should be gentle? When I've been told by heavens that in this world I'll have many tribulations.
Thank you, Boris.
So I cannot. But Fubara is getting it wrong by always wanting to say, at that time he said there is no price.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, and that is too big to pay for the case of peace. Which peace are you talking about? In politics, peace in politics.
Thank you, Boris. Siri, I'll get your parting shot. Just put it together.
Especially as it pertains, Yeltsin Wike, he was asked what they needed to ensure there's peace in River State. He particularly said Fubara should respect the rule of law. Do you think Yeltsin Wike is good enough to tell someone else, knowing what he has done in the last 8 years in River State, that Fubara should respect the rule of law?
It is right. It is right to say it. Again, but it's for Fubara to now demonstrate to him what he understands the rule of law and to respect the rule of law. Rhetoric is one thing, action is another. I hope that the governor has a proper epiphany, a wake-up moment to realize where he is and know what he wants to do. Failure to do that will amount to, it will cost him so much that he didn't see coming.
Okay, thank you, Sir Lobako. And Harry, thank you so much.
Well, I love, particularly personally, I love the confidence in Fubara. He always finds his way. I don't know how. I do not know how, but the confidence in him is bigger than we ever thought.
Yeah.
It's a developing story, actually.
Yeah, it's a developing story, and we'll definitely bring you more updates on the story, and you get to follow us. And I want to say thank you, Sir Lobako, for your time, and thank you for that amazing submission. Thank you, Barrister Eva Sokole, for always giving us legal advice and putting it in the right way for us. And that's the size of our package for today. Kindly visit our website for more up-to-date news at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Till I come your way again, I'm Choma.
And I am Henry Wibike. On behalf of the entire team, thank you for watching. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.